parents, guardians, and invited guests. Specific thank you to Mr. Marcus Vaughn, Massachusetts State Representative, for coming, Mrs. Lisa Sheldon, Chair of the School Committee in Norfolk, Mr. Peter Salve, School Committee member, Mr. Kevin Roach, member of the Norfolk School Select Board, and Dr. Ingrid Alardi, our Superintendent of Schools. Welcome to our annual Veterans Day Assembly. As a school family, we are here today to honor and thank veterans who have served in all branches of the military to ensure our freedom in the United States of America. I'd now like to call upon Daniel Ferris and Shannon O'Donnell in third grade to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I would ask everyone to stand. Please remain standing. After the Pledge of Allegiance is done, our flag is to the left on the wall of the screen. And under the direction of Mr. Foraker, the advanced band will play the Star Spangled Banner by Francis Scott Key. Please remain standing. Amazing job, Mr. Horker, and the advanced plans. Can everyone please sit? And if you would like, you can shift your attention to Miss Alton Hickey. This afternoon, I'd like to share a poem written by Blue Butterfly and published by Family Friend Poems in November 2021. I found this poem interesting because it was a person writing a poem for their little brother. My father is a veteran. He served during peacetime. My little brother was little, maybe 2 or 3, when he asked me why our father served. So I wrote this poem for my little brother, trying to explain it to him. Why do they fight? Veterans are men and women who fight because they care. They give their lives to serve our country by land, by sea, and by air. They serve because they love us. They serve because they want a better future for their country, a better future for their world. Serving comes with consequences that they know are willing to dare. You can't find a braver person here or anywhere. They fight for their rights. They fight for our lives. And we all owe them a thank you for all that they've sacrificed. This afternoon, I'd like to share some important facts of who our school is named after and why we honor them. Our school is named after 2 very important people, Mr. Alvin J. Freeman and Sergeant Adam P. Kennedy. Mr. Alvin J. Freeman served on the Norfolk School Committee for 33 years. He exemplified dedication and commitment to shape our schools, making sure children always come first. Today I'd like everyone to know a little bit more about Sergeant Adam Kennedy. Sergeant Adam Kennedy attended the Freeman-Kennedy schools here in Norfolk, Massachusetts, as a student. After graduating from college, Adam went into training for the United States Army. During his training, Adam received honors in physical fitness and marksmanship. He had many attributes during his time in the Army. Adam exemplified honor, courage, determination, and leadership skills while serving in the Army. This led to his success as he served on the Colonel's personal security detail. Unfortunately, Adam was killed on April 8, 2007, after being hit by an IED in Iraq. The Freeman-Kennedy School was named in his honor. Sergeant Adam Kennedy's picture and uniform is displayed on the walls of our school right outside this gymnasium. The next time you walk by Adam, pause and say thank you for the sacrifice he made in order for us to live freely. Adam is a hero, and so is every veteran in the United States of America. This afternoon, I'd like to thank all of our veterans in the audience for their service. I'm going to ask, as I read your name of all of our guests, if you please stand and remain standing until the last person. Mr. Larry Baker, Special 4th Class, United States Army. Mr. Brian Keith Bingham, Special 4th Class, United States Army. Mr. William Brach, Sergeant E5, United States Army. Mr. Brian Burns, Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. Mr. Michael Carr, Corporal, United States Marine Corps. Mr. Sean Casey, E5 Petty Officer, 2nd Class, United States Navy. Mr. Richard A. Catanacci, Sr., Corporal, United States Marine Corps. Mr. Brendan Duffy, Major, Rhode Island Air National Guard. Mr. Doug Fail, Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps. Mr. Robert Fazio, Special 5 Medic, United States Army. Mr. Dan Ferris, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army. Mrs. Mara Ferris, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force. Mr. Ronald Gleesman, E5 Buck Sergeant, United States Army. Mr. Larry Hunt, First Lieutenant, United States Army. Mr. Anthony Janeski, Sergeant, United States Army. Mr. Andrew Jurwich, Specialist, United States Army. Mr. Ronald Leitner, Lieutenant Commander, United States Coast Guard. Mr. Lee Margolius, Captain, United States Army. Mr. Ryan McKay, Master Sergeant, Mass Army National Guard. Mr. John Menfee, Vietnam Fighter Pilot, United States Army. Mr. Brendan McGorthy, Flight Officer, United States Navy. Mr. Philip McKenna, CPO, United States Navy and Canton Honor Guard. Mr. Arthur Montgomery, Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps. Mr. P.J. O'Donnell, Specialist, 4th Class, United States Army. Mr. Jim O'Neill, Colonel, 1st Cavalry Division, United States Army. Mr. Andrew Puga, Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. Mr. James Ritchie, Colonel, United States Marine Corps. Mr. Phil Roberge, Captain, United States Army. Mr. Richard Roach Jr., Technical Sergeant, United States Air Force. Mr. Glenn Russell, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Marine Corps. Mr. Ethan Sheldon, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army. Mr. Robert Sinclair, Master Sergeant E8, United States Army. Mr. Benjamin Sprague, Sergeant EM5, United States Army. Mr. Richard Staffire, First Private Class, United States Army. Mr. Kirk Edward Thomas, BM3, United States Coast Guard. Mr. William Wheeler, Specialist 4, United States Army. Mr. Michael White, Major, United States Army and Army National Guard. Mr. Alexander Wolf, Staff Sergeant, United States Army. Mr. Justin Yanisek, Sergeant, United States Army. If there's anybody that I did not call, can you please stand now? Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. If everyone could turn around and face me again. I'd just like to include my Veterans Day message by a quote written by John Fitzgerald Kennedy. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. I'd now like to ask our 6th grade class to stand and face our veterans. The 6th grade class is going to recite a poem titled The Pride of Our Country by Roger Robichaud.
Alrighty, The Pride of Our Country by Roger Robichaud.
Today as before, our brave do fight for a land they love, a flag so bright.
Before the
Pride of our country, yes they are, the strength of our nation, best by far. Just as our brave from each war on high, they march for us proudly, flag held high. From all over this land, they come to serve, they're taught by the best, this they deserve. And true to their all, the world must see, for serving our land, we never were at sea. The pride of this country, march through war, with homes on strength, love deep in their core. Blessed souls awesome, their loved ones will know, they God guide their journey, where they for us go. What these brave must have is support from their own, the love from their people, firm thankfulness shown. Our greatest achievement is that we're still free. Please take time and honor the cause this is free.
Awesome job, 6th graders. Thank you, teachers, for helping our students recite that poem. Under the direction of Mrs. Busio, our 3rd grade students will sing Thank You Soldiers by Michael and Angela Saunders.
Thank
afternoon. Thank you. I'd now like to call upon Mr. Marcus Vaughn, State Representative, to say a few words.
Thank you. Very well done, third grade students. Always a pleasure to hear the chorus here and the band here at Freeman-Kennedy. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be with you here today, to gather and remember and celebrate the brave men and women who have served our country. Today, we're joined by some of our nation's heroes, our veterans. Veterans Day gives us a chance to reflect on these sacrifices they have made and to express our gratitude for their service. To our veterans here today, thank you. Each of you has a story, a commitment, a sacrifice that is uniquely yours. You left behind family and friends to serve, facing unknowns and challenges so that we could have the freedom and security we often take for granted. Every single one of you has helped build the country we live in today, and for that, we are deeply grateful. Students, think for a moment about what it means to be truly dedicated to something bigger than yourselves. Our veterans are people who choose to step up and serve, knowing it would mean facing challenges and making sacrifices. They left behind the familiar and traveled to the unfamiliar places, often far from family and friends, to protect our nation. Their journey wasn't always easy, but they were driven by a commitment to keep us safe and uphold the values we believe in. Today, we get to enjoy our freedoms, our peace, and our way of life because of their service. This is a day to remember that freedom isn't free. It's protected every day by people who love their country and are willing to sacrifice to defend it. Veterans Day reminds us that these sacrifices are all that we have and a responsibility to honor those who serve. Now, with that said, a little update from our office, that Massachusetts is taking a very large step to support and honor our veterans. Just recently, our governor signed a historic new law that I supported in the House of Representatives called the HEROES Act, which stands for honoring, empowering, and recognizing our service members and veterans. This act is the most significant veterans legislation in Massachusetts in over 2 decades. It is set to make a real difference for veterans across our state. With over 30 new provisions, the HERO Act focuses on enhancing benefits, improving services, and ensuring all veterans feel respected and valued here in our Commonwealth. One of the great things about this law is that it recognizes and supports many different groups of veterans who may have been underrepresented in the past. Here are just a few ways the HERO Act is making a difference. It expands access to mental health services so veterans can get the care they need to deal with the stresses and challenges of their experiences. I know this is really long. No, it's fine. It increases financial support for disabled veterans, helping them with day-to-day needs and improving their quality of life. It also supports businesses that hire veterans, making it easier for our heroes to transition back to civilian life with meaningful jobs. Massachusetts has always been proud of its military history. Our state has a legacy of leadership and patriotism of veteran care. This new law builds on that history and strengthens our commitment to those who have served. To all of our veterans here today and across our community, we thank you for your sacrifices. We know that freedom isn't free, and we are grateful for the courage and dedication you have shown. Because of your service, we enjoy the rights and opportunities we have today. Let's take this Veterans Day to reflect on what our veterans have done for us and think about how we, too, can give back to our community in ways to honor their commitment and legacy. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn. I'd like to have everyone shift and look at our big screen right here in the center of our gymnasium. Over the years, since I I've been here, so probably almost 16 years now, we have created a Veterans Day tribute video of our family and friends that we'd like to honor. So a huge thank you to Mrs. Oppenheimer and Mrs. Tusieri for putting this video together today. I can have everyone shift and turn to our chorus over here to my right on the risers. And if everyone can listen quietly. Under the direction of Mrs. Musio, the chorus will now sing Welcome Home by John Jacobson and Mac Huff. Amazing job, Mrs. Musial, of course. Thank you very much. I'd now like to call upon Mr. Tarzik, who will come up for some closing remarks.
The drive home from days like today are always a little extra special, and we're always proud of you guys. And when the community can come together like this and honor veterans, and see the talent at the school with music and poetry and just respect that you guys are showing. And again, it just makes the drive home a little extra special today. I'd like to thank Norfolk Cable for coming out and assisting us. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank our honored guests, the tech staff, especially Mrs. Lois Eppenheimer and Mrs. Robin O'Sherry, who put in numerous hours in creating the Veterans Video Tribute, our custodial staff for setting up, Mrs. Musial in the chorus, Mr. Foraker and the advanced band, Mrs. Hamilton and Mrs. Eppenheimer, our administrative assistants who work behind the scenes to invite guests, create today's program, our student performers, all of our faculty and staff, and all the students and guests in attendance. Today, my thoughts are with my uncle Richard Malo. He's someone that, you know, like I'm really lucky. He's an uncle that has been at all the important events of my life. You know, like all my young birthdays, graduations, anything. You know, the birth of my kids. He's in the hospital, you know, to say hi, to show support. He served in the Army, and he also served during Vietnam. And like many Vietnam veterans, he does not like to talk about the experience and the events that he witnessed. You know, I don't have a picture. I would love to put him up in the but I don't have a picture of him, so he just doesn't want to display it. And it was a tough experience for a lot of soldiers. The one thing he does talk about is the men and women that he served with and how much he cared about them. You know, war is a very scary thing. It is hard to comprehend how much our veterans have experienced, what they've experienced. So today, this weekend, take any opportunity to say thank you or smile to one of our veterans. Let them know that we will not forget their sacrifice and how much we admire and respect their service. We're going to close today's ceremony with the playing of taps performed by Lillian Nervosa. Its origins in America trace back to a signal for soldiers to turn out the lights and go to sleep. Today it is played to honor soldiers that have passed on. We ask that you not applaud at the end of taps, but rather take a deep, reflective breath, and we're going to have you guys quietly walk back to your class with your teachers, being mindful of those that served and did not make it back to their families. Thank you, everyone.